Shalom, 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 Lisa. How's it going? How's it going? Um, do me a favor and put in the scriptures for me when I call out a scripture. Put those in for me if you don't mind. Be right back. Okay, I'm gonna have to talk about a couple of things. I'm not gonna be on this particular live stream that long, and I want to address another. Shalom, Harriet Villanueva. I wanted to say that right. Um, but I'm not going to be on this one super long. I enjoyed the live stream from my brother over at Following Yeshua. I did enjoy that. That was pretty good. Um, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna address a couple things. I'm gonna address one of the videos I did called Split Loyalties. Split Loyalties. I'm gonna address that video a little bit, add a little bit more, a little clarity to that, and then I want to talk about. So I'm gonna deal with marriage and order in the home, and talk about TBIC. Give you guys a little bit more information on that. A little bit more information on that. So if you guys have questions or anything, you can put it in there. Otherwise, I intend on this being short. I don't want this to be too long. So I intend on it being short. So let me deal with the video that I did, split loyalties. Okay, I'm unapologetic about that video. I am. Okay, and I said at the beginning of the video that a lot of people are gonna have their feelings hurt. Shalom, my lighting one. Shalom. That some people are gonna get their feelings hurt, and mostly to those women who fall like in that category, women with children or whatever. Let me just say at the top, no, women with children. I'm not saying you're bad people or you're no good or I'm not saying that. Okay, there's a lot of women that have children, who end up single or whatever. That doesn't make them inherently bad. Okay, so let me just say that at the top. Okay, I'm not saying that their kids are inherently bad. Okay, but I'm not gonna apologize for what I said many guys were thinking, and it hurts, but I understand and it does they, I mean, I was called names or whatever, and obviously I had a criticism from a young lady. I'm not gonna say her name, and it's not on the YouTube. It's not on the YouTube channel under the video, but the video was shared in other places, like Facebook, and there was comments there, and she was really super upset. And again, I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna say any names or anything like that because it doesn't bother me. Okay, it was just one of those things. If you throw a rock in a crowd, I hate the old adage, but I'm gonna use it. If you throw a rock in a crowd of dogs, right, the one that yelps is the one who got hit. So what I was saying applied to that particular person, right? And what I was saying is that no one appreciates the position that stepfathers. That video was talking about, stepfathers and then the ability of a woman to be able to assimilate. And see, because what happens is that they want everything their way. Everyone should look at it that way. Okay. Exactly. They don't want to accept. They want to gear it towards it. Okay, this is what I want you to do. Okay, want to go to a man. Okay, I want you to. Okay, I want us to be together, and I want you to love me, and I want you to love my children as your own, and I want you to treat us all well, and I want this, I want that, whatever. If you have kids, I want everything to be and all that. Okay, okay. What I'm saying is this: you are putting yourself, the kids, and that man in a very precarious situation. Okay? Very precarious situation. You're already asking this man really to assimilate to you and your kids. That's what you're saying. You want the man to assimilate to you and your kids, okay? And put in the blood, sweat, and tears. Take care of you. Provide, pay the bills, pay the bills, and take care of everything and protect and all. You already want him to do that. Why? Because you want him to say, okay, you want him to acquiesce, capitulate, and genuflect before you and the kids. My point of that video is that one, you're putting yourself in a really precarious situation, and two, you got to understand being a stepfather is a thankless job, okay? They typically don't work out, typically, as far as, the appreciation. Your own kids may fail to appreciate you. Shalom, Sister Ragsdale. Your own kids may fail to appreciate you, right? So what I'm saying is that it's pretty much a thankless job. Now, I'm not saying that a guy, he should not take a woman with kids. I'm not saying that. Sure, he can. Know what you're getting yourself into. Know what you're signing up for, okay? I know a lot of men, and I know a lot of stepfathers, and hey, I was one as well, okay? Most of the time, doesn't work out so good. Most of the time. Shalom, shalom, house of Lee. Okay? All I'm saying, how can I put this? I want to put this right. How can I put it? If we go back to what I was saying, in the video, I'm asking, can you, Shalom M4 Johnny, I'm asking, can you assimilate if you have split loyalties? And I'm talking to single women. If you have split loyalties, can you assimilate? Okay? Because if something happens, now what are you going to do? You're going to side with the kids? I know, they came from your loins. That's my kids, that's my blood. But the question is, can you assimilate? That's how I know that, the lady who criticized, she didn't listen to the whole thing. I know that. So, how's it going, brother? That's my brother right there. Shalom, shalom, bro. I know you. I know. I don't think you relate, brother. I don't think you relate. So that's what I'm saying. Okay, that's what I'm saying. The question is, can you assimilate? Now, to each his own. Okay, there's gonna be some brothers who will take a woman on. Okay, who take a woman on, who has kids. Okay, but you have to know in your heart of hearts what you're asking a guy to do. Okay, I know men from raising kids from 2 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, all the way up to adults and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, there's a thankless job, and there is a period in between. Okay, I know one gentleman, again, not saying any names, no, one gentleman raised a boy, got with a woman who already they're in another channel waiting for him. He married a young lady. She already had a son, right? And the boy was 2 years old at the time that they met, right? They got married and everything. He raised him from that point all the way up to like 21 years old. Didn't have much, the boy, did not have much contact with his birth father, with a natural father. Didn't have much contact, right? And so that went on, they did their thing, and then when the boy got 15, 16, 17 years old, whatever, he started to have more contact with his birth father. And guess what happened to stepdad? He told me, started acting kind of funny, started having a different attitude, start giving him some lips, start having that delayed obedience, okay? And it's to the 9th degree. Now, some people are going to dismiss and be like, well, that's just how teenagers are or whatever. Okay, but get into the stepfather's shoes or whatever. Okay, I've been taking care of you since 2 years old, and I can't even get respect. I'm sorry. I took you to your baseball games, football games, basketball games, and track meets and all this other stuff. You did all these club things. I poured into you, okay? All right? I poured into this child all this time. I'm talking from him. I poured into this child all this time, and I can't even get respect. On top of that, when conflict arose, then the wife would not even back him up. When conflict arose, didn't even back him up. So he goes to the wife and said, hey, listen, I need you to back me up. What's going on? You know, what's happening? I need you to back me up. Wasn't getting any backing. So now where's his power? He's just stepdad at this time. So what I'm doing is I'm giving voice to the stepfathers out there, or whatever. Oh, there's plenty of voice for the single mothers, and you got to understand their situation. And a guy left, and he was terrible, he was bad. I get it. He was abusive. I get it. What I'm saying is that people are talking about that, but no one's talking about being a step parent. That's what I'm saying. Nobody's talking about that. That's why I'm not apologizing for bringing up that subject, and it hurts some people's feelings. But there's a lot of quote unquote stepdads out there suffering, okay, in silence, being being disrespected and unappreciated, and he does that, and then totally investing in these kids that are not his own, and getting what back from it. And then the wife has the audacity or the unmitigated gall to not back him up. That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. It doesn't happen. So I don't want to dwell on that too much, but so what needs to happen, okay? What needs to happen? Because you have, well, what about the kids? It's about the kids. It's about there's a really big picture out there that's being missed, okay? There's a huge picture out there being missed, okay? What about when they start getting to puberty? What about, the respect and the honor? What about the assimilation? So mom and the kids need to assimilate, okay? So how does that happen? One of the things that happens is that mom has to talk to the kids and let them know, hey, I'm going to join myself with this man, and his rules go. We're going to abide by that. And son, daughter, whatever, if you are wrong, I'm siding with the rules. I'm siding with the master of the house. There will not be any divide and conquer. We're going to be loyal to this because a home is forged together with everybody participating in on the same page. That's what has to happen. Okay? So, sister, if you have kids or whatever, you have to have that conversation, period. All right? And then, before you guys get romantically involved and all that, then the man go there and have that conversation and let the kids know, his rules and what's it gonna be like. Okay, Shalom, Rosie, UK. Okay, can't serve two masters. Some women serve their exactly. Some women serve their children. And I said one of the things I recommended in that video, called Split Loyalties on the channel. I said to look at the comments and look at what the guys are saying. Okay, that's what I said to help you out. All right, that's a different perspective. You need to get out of your shoes for 1 minute and look at it from a perspective of someone else. Because again, we already know single mothers, it runs rampant in our society. Okay, all right, we know most people broke up. Everybody you meet is a single parent, single mom. Okay, we know that. We're talking about that. That's everywhere. That's prevalent. But nobody's talking about stepfathers. That's what I'm saying. Okay, and no, I'm not hurt. I'm fine. But what I'm saying is that nobody's talking about it. I know a lot of men who took children that are not of their own under their wing, and it is a thankless job. So let me address the kids. Listen, kids. This is the part when you can show your kids and hopefully they'll pay attention. Okay, listen, kids. In biblical marriage, there is a protocol. Okay, it doesn't mean that you're not valuable. It doesn't mean that mom doesn't love you or whatever. She actually would hurt. She's seeking out righteous covering is an act that she is loving you. She's trying to protect you physically and trying to protect you spiritually when you come under the headship, of a righteous man. Okay, so we have to understand. Okay, you guys have to understand, kids, and I'm talking, if you're a teenager or something. You have to understand that is a rough situation that you put your mother under when it comes to you having a conflict with her husband, okay, her new head, you having a conflict, and then you put them in a divide and conquer situation. You put the guy in a rough situation. If one day you get upset, you get in your feelings, and you're like, well, you're not my daddy. okay? Or you change, or you take some passive aggressive and you don't want to talk to them and ignore them, and all you're just creating a really, really rough situation. And yet your mother is pleading your cause, wanting this dude to invest everything of his life, okay? His time, his money, his energy, everything into you, and to get what back? You see, to get what back? Because as soon as you get upset, it's, well, you're not my dad, you're not my real father, and blah, blah, blah. Okay? So I'm asking you, I'm telling you, do not put your mother or that father in a tough situation. Family is what you make of it. Family is how you build. Okay? You want to be, everyone needs to have the attitude of contributing to the household and the family dynamic. Contributing. Okay? That's what it's all about. Because like I said in the other video, 9 times out of 10, if there's a conflict between you, teenage, child, or prepubescent child, if it's a conflict between you and the stepfather or the new master of the house or whatever, mom, especially out in the world, they choose you, but now she's not covered anymore. You guys experience another bad relationship. Home is broken up anyway. There you go. What did you win, right? I give you another example. I counseled, okay? I counseled a couple, okay? Married couple. And and they were having conflict. And guess what they were having conflict with? They were having conflict with the boy, the young boy. It was the wife's boy, but not her new husband's biological son. And he raised the boy from, how long were they together? Like over 10 years? Probably a little over 10 years. Yeah, it was definitely over 10 years. And probably more like 12, 13 years. Anyway, so the boy from six years old all the way up to, from 5 years old all the way up to 19 or whatever, right? So as the boy began to approach, and again, this story happens all the time. Check your context after we get some good views or whatever. Check the comments below and you'll see. Okay? Boy gets about 14, 15, years old, and they get into a fight, and he gets into an argument, okay, and get in the face of stepdad because he wanted to go in and out of the house when he wants to, didn't want to abide by the rules, didn't want to do the curfew, sneaking out of all that, right? And I don't want to get into, oh yeah, but there's something underneath why he's sneaking out. Okay, irrelevant. Sneaking out, doing his thing, coming in all hours of the other night, stuff like that. Okay, trying to run the house. Okay, stepfather wasn't having it. I'm paying all the bills, stuff like that. They get in a fight. Wife always sides with her kids. Now, when I counsel, I asked a question. I said, "Was your son wrong?" And she goes, "Yeah, because they had separated." I said, "Was your son wrong?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Did you side with him anyway?" She said, "Yes." Why? Well, because it was my son. I said, even though he was wrong, like, yes, what am I supposed to do? Well, you're supposed to side with your husband. No problem. They separate. They're separated for quite some time. She calls me up, still having problems with the boy. Now the man's gone. Still having problems with the boy, and like a mother trying to reason with them. Don't do this. Don't do that. Why would you do this to me and all that? Which it doesn't work with little boys like that. You can't just you can't try to get the sympathy obedience. Okay? You can't get sympathy obedience, but that's what they want to do. All right. So we talked multiple times. Still having trouble with the boy. He's starting to do whatever he wants because he finds out that mom has no teeth. Okay? And what I mean is strength in her threats. Teenage boy. I'm telling you, women, ask men. Teenage boys find out that mom's just really hot air. Okay? Not really, she's making threats, but nothing's really going to come from it and stuff like that. Now she's pulling her hair out and everything. And I told her, I said, you let your strength walk out the door. What do you mean? Your husband. I said, okay, when he tried to lay down the law and set order in the home, you didn't back him up. You did not back his play. So you let your strength walk right out the door because there is an order of things. Okay, there's the men's rite of passage where a father helps a man get from stage to stage to stage to stage in his life in the best way he can with minimal conflict. That's the goal. But because you sided with your child and you know that they were wrong, like stealing a car, okay, to go joyride and stuff, we know that's wrong. You don't want the man to straighten that out. You don't want him to deal with it because he's going to deal with it too harshly. Okay. I'm not going to choose no man over my children. Okay, I understand. There's no competition. Then if you feel that way, don't get married. If you join yourself in the community or something like that, don't get married. Join yourself as like a maiden or something. Don't join yourself as a wife. If you already know you cannot assimilate, save yourself some heartache. Okay? Save yourself some heartache. Save that man some stress. And don't put your children through it. But don't sit there and ask a man to do something that it's pretty much, for the most part, there are some exceptions. I'm saying it clear. There are some exceptions. So when I see the comments below, whatever, I know you were not listening. There are some exceptions. But it's pretty much a thankless job being a step parent. It's pretty much a thankless job. Unless you live in community and you have to understand the whole thing. Okay? It's pretty much a thankless job. So be careful what you're asking a man to do. Because that's what you're asking him to do. You're not asking him, oh, don't, just love me, don't love my kids, don't do nothing for them, don't worry about it, who cares? Nobody's asking you to do that either. Okay? So if you already know, hey, you know what, I cannot 100% assimilate with this man. If my child is in the wrong, I'm still going to choose my child because that's my child, because he came out of my, or she came out of my body. I mean, give me a break. Okay? Give me a break. All right? And then and I'm talking about little boys, okay? So we know that. Then you have little girls. That's another sticky situation. A lot of stepfathers are not going to feel comfortable being around a little girl without someone else. I mean, I would not want to be around someone else's little girl without someone around, period. Okay? You just don't want no misunderstanding. Now, if you're raised in a community, that's not as big a deal or whatever, but you just don't want no opportunity for a misunderstanding or anything like that. But look at the complications that you have to deal with when it is not your seed. Okay? Look at all the extra steps and the other things that you have to do and deal with when it is not your seed. But nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Just, oh, well, But I'm going to tell you, this marriage is supposed to be a bond. Marriage is not supposed to change, and your assimilation and all that's supposed to change once, because, well, I have kids. It doesn't change that way. I know this is an uncomfortable situation and everything, but guess what? It needs to be brought out. It needs to be talked about. We got to talk about it because it's kind of a big deal. You're talking about people's lives, the kids, the wife, and the husband. You're talking about people's lives and that family dynamic. Everyone's talking about, blended families and stuff like that. Okay, well then you got to come with some ground rules. Okay? So I'm not saying that a guy cannot choose a woman with kids. Yes, he can. No problem. Know what you're getting into. He can. That's a case-by-case thing. All right? I had a brother ask, I believe it was M4 Johnny, and I answered it, and he was just saying, would you take a woman who would not assimilate and would not put her kids away, send her kids back to the father and stuff like that? And I answered it. I answered it there, and I'll answer it right here. One, not going to take a woman who won't assimilate. Period. I'm not going to do it. That's a house divided. I'm trying to build something here. I'm trying to build my tribe. I don't need a woman who has her own agenda. Don't need you. I really don't. That's not to be, mean or anything like that. I don't need that, okay? And as far as the kids, it's a case-by-case situation, okay? Example, father's nowhere to be found. He's dead, or he's in jail, or what, okay? Case by case. That's not the only two. It's a case-by-case situation. That's not the only two examples. I'm just giving those two as a quick example on that. Okay? So that totally depends. And it also depends on the man. Okay? It depends on the man. You can have a man who can't even produce seed. Okay? For some reason, it's not working. Okay? And so he may say, you know what? Yeah, that's cool. I'll do that. So it doesn't matter. Whichever. Okay? It doesn't matter. So now we're going to get into, let me explain to some of the young people. Let me explain marriage. Okay, I'm gonna take a couple of marriage verses and stuff like that, just so people can understand the closeness, what's supposed to happen. Okay, so the teenagers, so you can understand. And shalom, shalom. And for Johnny, Vinny D. Davis, Lamont Bryant, okay, you're covering situations that most men and women don't consider. This is extra time, energy, and effort. So men who offer covering don't need any extra crap. Ellipse or app. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you, brother. Same thing. That's what I'm saying. Okay, don't need you asking me to do. You asking me to do a huge solid. I don't need any of that other stuff. Okay, it's total assimilation, or you just move on. Okay, that's it. That's just save yourself. Save yourself all the heartache. Okay, save yourself for someone who don't want it. They don't want it. No, we're not doing that. Okay, so we need assimilation. But for all the, I'm trying to put this in a way teenagers understand. Okay, but I'm in Ephesians 5. I'm gonna go down to 28. Okay, so this is what's supposed to happen. So are men. So Ephesians 5 and 28. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. That's how much we're supposed to love your mother. Okay, talking to teenage kids. Okay, he that loveth his wife loveth himself. Okay, so if I'm gonna love myself, I'm supposed to love, or the husband supposed to love your mother, right? No man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourished it and cherished it, even as the Lord the church. For we're members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bone. Okay, and we know in the beginning he said, this is flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone, right? And then it says 31, for this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and the two shall become one flesh, one in every way, right? One flesh. They're going to they're going to be one in mind and body and spirit, one. They're going to be marching to the beat of the same drum. Okay, they're going to go in the same direction where the man leads them, wherever the vision, wherever the husband. That's it. So we can be one. Okay, so that we can be one in total unity, assimilated, right? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and drop to verse 33. So Ephesians 5:33, it says, nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence her husband. Now let's look up reverence in the Strongs, okay? Ephesians, let me go back there. Ephesians 5 and 33. Now, when I look up reverence, okay, and it's the third definition because the other one is fear, but it is phobeo, okay, it's the G5399, okay. Now, to put to flight, that's the first, definition. To be struck with fear, so that's not what we're talking about, but we're going to the third one when it says to reverence, to venerate, to treat with deference or referential obedience. That's the one that's applicable to the topic. Okay, that's the one. That's the definition that's in context. Okay, with reverential obedience. So I'm talking to you, you young people, that your mother is to have reverential obedience to her new husband. You may be a teenager or something who's coming from that y'all come from modern Christianity or Sunday Christianity, right? So mom probably already talked to you. We don't do, we ain't doing birthdays or Christmas and Easter and all that stuff, right? So she's giving up all the man-made holidays and stuff like that, right? She may have got you on the dietary law. So, okay, we're not going to be eating pork and catfish and shrimp and crab and all that, okay? And now she's saying, okay, kids, I want a biblical marriage. So so mom's going to be a little bit different. She's learning to submit and to get in order and protocol. That's what she's learning, right? She's learning to follow that protocol. That's all she's trying to do. All right. So let's look at 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. Okay. So let's get 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. Okay. So I can show you guys, talking to the teenagers, okay, that we're talking about. This is what your mother is trying to do as she seek a head, a righteous head. She wants someone, she wants a Hebrew man. She wants a righteous man who knows the Bible and stuff like that. So this is what she's trying to do. Okay, and by extension, this is what the man is trying to do: get his house in order. Okay, so 11:3. And as a matter of fact, let's go ahead. I'm gonna back it up to verse 2. So 11:3, verse 2, or just read the first 3 verses. Okay, be ye followers of me, even as I also am follower of Christ. This is what the husband of the house is saying. Imagine a husband is saying to the wife, okay? Be ye followers. So she's going to follow me, or the husband, as I follow Christ. Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things and keep the ordinances as I deliver them to you. All right, so here I'm laying down the rules. I'm laying down the traditions. This is how my house is going to be ran. Okay, verse 3. But I would have you know, so teenagers, I'm having you know, that the head of every man is Christ. Follow me as I follow Christ. Okay, and the head of the woman is the man. I'm the head, or the husband is the head of your mom. Okay, and the head of Christ is God, the Father. Okay, is the Elohim, is Yah. Okay, the head of the Mashiach is Yah. All right, so this is the order that he's trying to, and your mother is trying to establish. Okay, so you have the father, you have Christ, you have the husband, you have the mother or the wife, and you have the kids to put everything in order. Okay, everything in order. But this world tells tells women a completely different story, a completely different narrative, and look at the results that you're getting. Okay, what the Lord put together, let no man put asunder. If it is in order, it's going to work. If there's disorder, it's not going to work. It's that simple. Okay, so we have to remember that. Okay, so let's look at Mark 10. I was looking at one guy's video and he kept saying okay a lot, and it's got me saying it. Mark 10. Mark 10. I'm just going to read 6 through 9. Mark 10, 6 through 9. But from the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. So then they are no more twain, but one flesh. That means no divide and conquer. Okay, kids? No divide and conquer. There cannot be a division there, or the house will not stand. No divide and conquer. They have to be one flesh, one mind, or whatever. So you can't be, you can't use that. Oh, you're going to choose a man over me? It's not that. That, again, just talking about protocol and order. That's all we're talking about. All right? So I want you to remember this. It's supposed to be, because this whole thing is supposed to last for a lifetime. It really is. Shalom, shalom. It's supposed to last for a lifetime. Go to Ecclesiastes 9. Ecclesiastes 9 and 9. Okay? You go there. It won't be long after do a couple of these, and then we're going to move. I'll move on and we'll close it out. 9 and verse 9, it said, live joyfully with the wife whom thou lovest all the days of the life of thy vanity. So for as long as you live, we're supposed to love them for life. We're supposed to love the wife for life. Love the wife for life. That's the intent that we're supposed to do. Okay? Which he had given thee under the sun. Okay? The wife that he gave you, love her for life. That's what's supposed to be. So young people, teenagers, 10, 11, 12, and the teenagers, understand what they are trying, understand what your parents are trying to do. We want to talk about blended families. Understand what they're trying to accomplish. Okay? If there is no assimilation and no submission and walking in one accord, it is not going to work. Can't play this divide and conquer game. You cannot do these split loyalties and stuff like that. Women, don't put yourself in that situation. If you know you cannot completely assimilate, don't put yourself in a situation. I know of another situation where a man, has a couple of wives and stuff like that, but he was bringing on another wife. Okay, now this woman has sick parents. Okay, sick parent that she's looking after. Okay, they live in 2 different states, and she has a sick parent. Okay, and he said, okay, well, I can't bring you to my house yet because you have sick parents, and you won't be able to fully assimilate to me and my program and how the house is ran, because you're gonna always have on your mind my parents. You're gonna always have on your mind those parents that you have to look at, that you want to look after. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and put all your time, attention, and focus on you looking after your parent. This is what he said to her. Put all that. Was he being mean? No. He already knew that she's gonna have a split loyalty. He already knew that she's not gonna be able to fully assimilate. Because every time you turn around while he's trying to run his program at the house, he's gonna be like, well, I need to go visit my parents. I need to go. Okay, so he foresee that. He did that out of wisdom and say, you know what? Just focus on your parents. Now, I know sometimes women, I just want to be covered. I just want a husband. And then when you get there, now this guy has to assimilate to your program and everything that you're doing with you and your kids. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, well, this son has some soccer practice, and this girl, she has, ballet lessons, and then we got to do this. And all of a sudden now he has to go on and tackle, what did he sign up for? What did he just sign up for? So if you have these split loyalties, it's not going to work. That's what I'm saying. You got to learn how you're going to go through his program. What's he going to do? All right. So let's go. 2 Corinthians 6:14. 2 Corinthians 6:14. No, that's first. Okay. 2 Corinthians 6:14. And wrong book. I am missing it. Six and 14. Be ye not equally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship has righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion has light with darkness? So you cannot be unequally yoked, because it's not going to work. Can't have two different programs. Yeah, see, Brother Vinny D. Davis, he said, this is my story and why me and my ex got divorced. You can expand on that if you want, brother, but that's what I'm talking about. Nobody wants to talk about it. And for John, he says, women, honestly, how can you assimilate when you have children from another man? Concubine status is the best position if you can't assimilate. Now you're gonna see some manifestations. You saying that in for Johnny, okay? You say that. Hey, some women, they can't handle that. They can't handle you talking that way. They can't handle that you talking that way. They don't understand how difficult that it can be, right? But you're right. There's truth. Hey, I agree with you, but they can't handle it. They can't bear that. They cannot bear that. We can't even talk that way, like that. Okay, so I'm not gonna even get to that conversation. All right. They yeah, so anyway, let's go to Proverbs 5. You're hitting on something, brother. You're hitting on something. Let's go to Proverbs 5 real quick. Proverbs chapter 5. And Proverbs 5, I'm going to hit 18 and 19. Okay? Let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Let her be as the loving hind and pleasant roe. Let her breast satisfy thee at all times, and be thou ravished always with her love. Okay, see, this is the union that people who practice righteousness, this is what they're trying to do. This is a union that they're trying to accomplish. Okay, I'm sorry. It's Proverbs 5:18 to 19. Yeah, Proverbs 5:18 to 19. This is what they're trying to accomplish. All right. Let me go to Proverbs 12 and 4. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness to his bones. Okay, and that's the other thing. If the program is right, women, you meet a guy and the program is right, then you have to understand, okay, am I going to assimilate to this guy? Am I going to sign up for his program? So find out what his program is. Find out what his parenting style is. Find out what his expectations are. Find out all this stuff, because that's what's going to happen. Okay, what's going to happen is conflict if everyone's not completely signing up for the program. So that's why I try to explain to the young people what's being built here. What's what the parents are trying to do. Colossians chapter 3. Let's go to Colossians chapter 3. Okay, it's going to be Colossians chapter 3, and I'm going to read verse 18 and 19. Vinny Davis, he said, I met her 17 years ago. Our daughter was 2. Okay. And I came into the understanding of having to keep the commandments 4 years ago, and my daughter didn't want to, nor was my ex fully persuaded. And that, my friend, what the Messiah said, think not that I've come to bring peace, but a sword. And the whole house is going to be divided up. And that's just one of those things that's going to happen. That's why they have to ask this. That's why the women have to ask the question, am I going to completely sign up for this program? And then you have to relay that to the children. We are signing up for this program. This is how this man is. This is what he's going to expect from us. We sign up. Okay? And when we learn these rules or what he wants in his household, we're signing up for that. And if you break these rules, I'm siding with my husband. Okay? If something is unrighteous, unjust, and we are going to come together as parents and fix it and getting it straightened out, but we're signing up for his program. Okay, Colossians 3 and 18. Then I'm just going to move on and close out and talk about TBIC. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husband as it is fit in the Lord, which is exactly what the Lord wants you to do. Submit yourselves to your husband. Husband, love your wives and be not bitter against them. Okay? Be not bitter against them. I don't have my apocrypha with me, brother. I wish I had my apocrypha. Sirach 25:26. Absolutely. Thank you, brother. All right. Look at what it says. Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well pleasing unto the Lord. This is well pleasing unto the Lord. Okay, I read over in the Torah when you had an unruly, slack, disobedient, riotous child, that they took that child to the elders in the city and they stoned the child to death so that everyone else would fear. Okay, so that's why it's fitting in the Lord. Obedience is better. Okay, so you got to understand what you're signing up from. Obedience is better. Obey your parents. That's what we're supposed to do. Husband loves your wives. Wives, submit to your husband. Children, obey your parents. Order. Order. That's what the Bible is calling for. Order. Okay, it said, House of Lee said, according to Dr. Murray, the wife that has a sick parent was not let go, but she was called a concubine, and the husband even helped her family. Okay, understood, right? So she's a concubine. She's not in the household. He's allowing her to take care of that, okay? And for that situation, he's allowing her to take care of her situation, get all that straightened out. The mothers, hopefully if they get to health, okay, we don't want to go the other way. So if they get back healthy and they can take care of themselves and all that stuff, okay, great. Now you can come to my house or whatever. But yeah, you can do that. But that's a guy being very kind and gracious, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But there's not a full assimilation yet because she has another priority that may be above the husband. That's what I'm saying. That's why I asked throughout, like, can you assimilate? You see what I'm saying? That's why I asked that question. Can you assimilate? Asking the women with children, can you assimilate? And what it means. So this is a protocol that is going that we're talking about here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch gears a little bit and just talk a little bit about TBIC. Okay, TBIC, and my brother Chris, if following Yeshua, he touched on it a little bit. Okay, he touched on it. And for John, he said, but after all that is straight, then she can assimilate and get married. Absolutely, after all that. Okay, so TBIC, it stands for the Brethren Israelite Council. The Brethren Israelite Council. Lacey, could you write that for me, if you don't mind, in the chat? The Brethren Israelite Council, and what it is that 5 of us brothers, got together. Brother Manny, Brother Chris, and following Yeshua, House of Colette, Brother Andre, all, 5 of us. We got all, on one accord. And what we want to do is build a type of community. Okay, that's what we want to do. We want to build a type of community, but we want to use the biblical model of that community, which my brother Chris following Yeshua really talked about, really hammered it home like 2 Shabbats ago, and it was incredible. It was great. And so that's what inspired us and sparked us. Now, what that means? That means that as you heard us talking about, you heard him mention, Mannyville, House of Colette, or Shalom, The Rock, myself with, Remnant Ranch, stuff like that. You heard us, we put, going to be 5 communities, at least to begin with. 5 of us, the heads of our land, heads of our community, and we're going to convene and fellowship and counsel together. Okay, it's not going to be this guy's a pastor and a bishop we're not doing all that. It's just 5 brothers, right? 5 brothers who love Torah and love the Bible and want to get back to the basics, want to seek out the old paths. That's what you got. You got 5 brothers who are trying to come into Torah and seek out the old paths. And we want to do the biblical way of all things in common. Okay? Let's see, my brother over House Colette, okay, he said helping her wasn't mandatory. Oh, that's true. Graciousness and mercy is good, but not the requirement. This is per her husband, the author's husband. Okay, there you go. So I agree with my brother House Colette. So we are building, a community where we're going to be in pretty decent proximity of each other over in the Ozarks. And we're going to have all things in common because each person's land is going to have different things, from different tools and equipment, from different vegetation and plant life, from different animals. Okay, it's going to have different things, but guess what? If I got it, my brother has it. All things in common. Okay, if I don't own a tractor, but if one of my brothers have a tractor, I have access to a tractor or a chainsaw. Okay, so that's how we're looking at all things in common. All right. The reason why we're using the biblical model is, 1, because it's biblical, and 2, we don't want to violate Torah, all right, by not being able to leave an inheritance for our children, because the Bible says that we're supposed to leave an inheritance for our children. As a matter of fact, Proverbs 19:14. Put in Proverbs 19:14. I wasn't going to even go back into the scriptures, but you know how we do. Proverbs 19:14. Let's see what that says. Okay, we're going back into the scriptures. 19:14 says, "House and riches are the inheritance of fathers." Okay, so that comes from the parents. Supposed to have an inheritance there. And a prudent wife is from the Lord, okay? So the kid's supposed to have, inherit the land and the houses and the riches and stuff like that. And the husband, we're supposed to inherit a prudent wife. We're supposed to inherit a good thing. We're supposed to have a Proverbs 31 woman from the Most High. You see? So we look at it like that. So that's the TBIC. Okay, so we have a community of guys, 5 lands. Okay, everyone will have their own land, and everyone, we will fellowship with each other. Okay, as often as after as we need to. We will hold one another, accountable, in a righteous way, in a biblical way. If one of us needs help, we're there for each other. We're there. You need some help. You need something built on your land, all the brothers figure out a time and get over there and help another brother build something or do something. We'll have the feast days on each person's land, okay? Different locations and stuff like that. We will fellowship together. We will be together. We are in one accord, okay? There's not going to be any divide and conquer, online. If we have an issue, we're just going to talk about it. We're just going to talk about it like men, sit around the table, and we just talk about it, and that's it, okay? We're not going to go at each other online or anything like that. This is unity. This is all things in common. This is iron sharpens iron, okay? You know how King Arthur, they had a round table because there's no head, central, whatever. No, all of us, we're just brothers. We're just brothers who are gonna do this the biblical way. Okay, who are striving to do it the biblical way, the best way we can, the best way we can all put our minds together and get it done. And that's it. That's what we want to do. Now, as far as the community, as far as people want to come out and stuff like that, you still got people want to come out. How do we love our neighbor? How do we have all things in common? Because is some brothers will be taking on more wives. Some, if that's what they desire to do, if they fit the criteria. Okay, Shalom, brother Lamar. If they fit the criteria, so some brothers will take on more wives. Okay, then probably all the brothers will be taking on young men and women. Okay, and I know some people they don't want to hear words like servants, and they don't want to hear words like handmaidens. But that's what it is. Okay, that's what it is. That doesn't mean someone is worthless. Here's the difference. You have a young man. He's 21, 22 years old, and he wants to live the biblical way. He wants to get his land, but he's starting out. Okay, so he can go to any one of the brothers' land, okay, and stay with that brother and learn skills that he can use. He can learn how to be a husband, how to be a father, learn animal husbandry, learn how to build and take care of his family, learn how to provide, learn how to run a land. Why? Because he spent time on someone's land doing it. He can go to another brother's land and do the same thing. And on his way out the door, he may get something. He could get some chickens or some cows, or he's definitely leaving with skills. He can find another wife from one of the other brothers' land and community. You see, if I had a daughter, I would want my daughter to be with one of the sons of my brothers. Or vice versa. I would want my son to pick a daughter from one of my brother's daughters. Community, all things in common. You see? That's what we stand for. Shalom, brother Johnny Smith. That's what we stand for. That's what the Brethren Israelite Council is all about. If we have an issue, then we get together. Remember, Abraham and Lot. Okay, their substance starts to grow. Okay, their substance started to grow, and then some of their servants or whatever were having disputes or whatever, and that's why they had to separate, right? So if someone on my land has a problem with someone on my other brother's land or whatever, then guess what? The brother Israelite Council are going to get together, talk about it, and work it out through Torah. Biblical. That's why we have formed a council. All right. None of us claim to be prophets. We're not like that. We're not prophets and these big time shepherds, and we're just trying to live the life. Shalom, shalom. We're just trying to live the life. That's what the Brethren Israelite Council. So if you go back to their channel, they may have the banner like I put on my channel. I put the banner up and everything that you'll be able to see. The other brothers, they may put they're gonna put the banner on their channel or whatever, and it may be TBIC and then that brother's name. That's why you put TBIC. That's the Brethren Israelite Council, the Israelite Prepper. Okay. Then you got the TBIC, and you have House of Colette. Right. You may see that over on Following Yeshua is going to be the TBIC Following Yeshua. So we're all trying to build our houses. We're all trying to build our tribe. So you may see some of the brothers who are going to take on more wives to help build their tribe. You're going to see some of them have, handmaids or whatever. Why? To build their tribe. Then they may have some young men. You can look at it as if the word servant hurts your feelings and it's a little too harsh or whatever, then you can say intern. Okay, so the brethren, we will be taking on male interns. Okay, so it's however you. Wives of good, wives of good, absolutely, wives of good quality. All right, he said I had to sell my tractor and brush hog, but I still have my chainsaw and the rest of my tools. Okay, good. Well done, that good and faithful servant. That's what we're looking for, brother. That's what we're looking for. So Exactly. I'm a servant too. So the word it doesn't bother me. It does. Some people it bothers them or whatever. But I'm a servant too. That's what I am. That's why I say pastor nobody. Okay. Yes, I teach lessons and stuff like that, but I'm a servant. Because if I hear that from the Messiah, if I hear the Messiah in that day say, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant," that is the most beautiful words I can hear coming from the Messiah. And that's what I'm looking for. And that's what we, all brothers, that's what we're looking for. We're just trying to live this thing, seek out the old past, and get back in line. We're striving to enter into that straight gate, that narrow path. And we're trying to help one another do that. And that's what we plan on doing. Okay? So you're going to see the House of Colette, you're going to see Remnant Ranch and Mannyville and The Rock, and you're going to see all the brothers, okay, doing that. You're going to see that. And we support one another. That simple. We support one another. All right? It's like the brother said, he said, House of Colette, exactly, brother. He said, Jacob apprenticeship is an investment for a blessing. Absolutely. Jacob, he went to his father-in-law's house, Laban, and he had an internship. Serving here. That's it. It's an internship. That's all it is. So the brothers will take wives and interns and maidens and have all things in common. Help all things in common. You have someone who's you have someone who's the poor, down on their luck, stuff like that. Fine. One of the brothers will take them in if they want to follow Yah and follow the program. If that person wants to follow the program and get some help, then no problem. Then no problem. And that's what I'm saying. So you guys, that's why we're doing. That's why we formed it, because we're looking for the biblical model. That's what we want to do. We're looking for the biblical model. We're trying to practice that, because there's another model community out there. There's a number of different models out there. There's a pay for an opportunity to live in community model, okay, and then there's a model out there that everyone recognizes and see practice out there, where you just give all things and lay it at the apostles' feet and all that stuff, and everybody live together. I spoke about that model before, but like I said, my brother Chris had followed Yeshua. He laid that thing down. He laid it down, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful, and he had a point. Okay. How else can you leave an inheritance? How else can you do it? It was about land. It was about inheritance. That's what it was about. If you don't have anything to call your own, if you have nothing to call your own, what are you going to leave your family? You don't have a house, you can't leave it to your kids. You don't own the house. It's not yours. The deed is not in your name, so you can pass it down. You don't have that. You have no lands because, the community, No. You can have community and have your own land. It's just bigger. That's it. My brothers have their own land. I'm gonna have my own land, and we will have all things in common, because we won't have all the exact same thing on our land. So, there you go, brother Benny D. Davis. He saw my video on the trailer. Okay, thank you, Shakina Yah. So. Oh, and by the way, on a side note, fellas, Shakina Lucas and I are courting, so she's not on the market. Okay, so she's not on the market. Just want everyone to understand that. Also, there was another thing that I want, and it just slipped my mind. I should have wrote it down. There was another thing that slipped my mind. Oh yeah, I think brother Chris and I, following Yeshua, we're gonna have I'll give you guys some details later, but we're gonna have a conversation, a lesson on the community and inheritance and stuff like that. And it's going to be on Debate Talk for You. It's not going to be a debate. It's just going to be, you know, a lesson, because they have lessons on there as well. And it should be coming up at the end of the month. Okay, it's going to be coming up at the end of the month, and we'll let you guys know the details of that as it gets a little bit closer. But I think it's going to be on a Friday 6th day night. So we'll probably be bringing in the Shabbat, but we'll be, like, again, we'll be talking about all that. So I appreciate you guys joining me. I'm going to go ahead and bring this to a close. I want it to be about an hour. It's starting to run a little bit over an hour or whatever. But put any comments or anything down below. And we will be talking about, you know, TBIC, and we're going to be trying to push forth this biblical model of community for you guys. Following Yeshua, okay? Follow me and following Yeshua are going to be talking about this on Debate Talk for You. We'll give you guys, you know, the date and time, but I know it's at the end of the month. All right, so with that being said, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and bring this video to a close, and I hope I addressed a couple things for you guys. So until next time, this is the TBIC, the Brethren Israelite Council. I'm Israelite Prepper, and I'll see you on the next one.